now the latest on October 20th around the wide world of tropics. Here's your tropical weather bulletin. Several systems are active around the world at this point, 2 significant tropical cyclones in the western Pacific and 2 ex-tropical cyclones in the western hemisphere, ex-Nestor and ex-Octave. In the Atlantic, day 141 of hurricane season, Nestor moving inland over northern Florida into southeastern Georgia, not going to be lasting much longer as an entity. Day 158 in the eastern Pacific, ex-Octave there, and Invest 90E off the west coast of Mexico. In the West Pacific, Bualoi formed earlier today, and Neoguri reached a peak at Category 3 earlier on. In the North Indian Ocean, Invest 97A is active, and in the southern hemisphere, there's nothing going on, as usual. Typhoon Neoguri now has winds of 105 miles per hour and a pressure of 968 millibars, according to our latest analysis, 183 miles from Miyakojima, Japan, 23.3 north, 127.7 degrees east. This storm is likely to weaken, possibly rapidly, over the next few days, but we're keeping it on as a Category 1 for a little bit longer, just out of safety more than anything, and then it will be moving on through the southeastern part of Japan. Yet again, that area could be getting a tropical cyclone, although it could turn post-tropical well before then. We'll see. This is the new tropical storm, fairly new, Bualoi, which formed not so long ago. 463 miles from Saipan at this update, 11.4 north, 151.4 east. Force 13 is doing other updates on this storm, and it could strike Saipan as a Category 2 typhoon in the early part of the coming week, and then it will probably intensify a little bit more as it moves out over the open waters. Rapid intensification can't be ruled out, but it does look like it's going to be following a similar path to Hagibis, so a lot of that heat will be taken out from the previous storm. Here's the satellite imagery of Neoguri. Wind shear starting to increase as well, getting up towards 35-40 knots perhaps. So that would favour the potential for rapid weakening, but we'll wait and see. As it is right now, gale advisories are in effect for some of those Japanese chain islands, and the JTWC think it will hold on as a typhoon for at least a good day or so, maybe longer. Here's the North Atlantic. You can see the unmistakable influence of Nestor over large parts of the southeastern United States, still producing some significant convection in places, so still there could be some inclement weather from that, even though all warnings from the National Hurricane Center have been lifted. You want to check your local National Weather Service office for the latest updates in your area down in the southeast. The East Pacific looking like this. You can see the Invest on the right hand side there off the coast of Mexico, 90E. 30% chance given by the National Hurricane Center at the previous update. They will be producing a new update in coincidence with this tropical weather bulletin, so I don't know what those numbers are, but I imagine they're pretty similar. Out in the Central Pacific, things looking fairly quiet. The West Pacific, so you can quite clearly see the 2 significant tropical cyclones, the Typhoon in the western side, which had that eye earlier. Frontal features to its north extending through Japan already, could be delivering significant amounts of rainfall. 8 inches also could fall over Saipan as a result of the new storm, and Guam also potential for tropical storm conditions, typhoon and tropical storm watches in effect. Southern Hemisphere, the South Pacific and Australian region, pretty quiet. A few flare-ups in the Solomon Islands and in Papua New Guinea. The Indian Ocean looking fairly quiet as well. There is an Invest embedded within all of that mess there in the Arabian Sea, 97A, off the western coast of India. As you can see, rotation is still non-existent, so no chance of that developing anytime soon. The Eastern Pacific looks like this, warmest waters off the coast of western Mexico. The Atlantic also fairly warm, although you can see even after Nestor now temperatures reducing even more along the Gulf Coast, as is normal for this time of year. The Atlantic main development region remaining fairly warm, but it is mostly shut down, probably completely. But last time that happened, a new depression formed. And this is the Indian Ocean there as well. Very warm waters there, 30 degrees plus. Certainly the possibility for further development in that basin, in one of those sub-basins. Western Pacific still warm, where the new storm is as well, very much so. Where Typhoon Neoguri is, temperatures around 27-28 degrees Celsius, perhaps pushing it there. But the wind shear is what's going to really be killing off this storm eventually. But at the moment, to its northern side, all of that convective activity blowing on over Okinawa, so significant rainfall likely there. And tropical storm force winds will probably be likely soon as well. Tropical storm gusts probably occurring across all of those islands today. This is what's left of Nestor, which we operationally had as a subtropical cyclone. We'll wait and see what the post-analysis comes out with on that. A bit of convection still blowing up over parts of Georgia this evening in relation to the storm, so that's an interesting little development. Localized heavy rainfall quite possible over parts of central Georgia, maybe even including the Atlanta area there as well in those latest frames, and that will probably blow on through to the east coast into South Carolina. And this is what Tropical Storm Bualoi is looking like. Intensifying steadily, I think, is what we could say for the last 24 hours. That looks like it's set to continue, but we can't rule out rapid intensification at any point. These islands, I think, know what it's like. Rapid intensification happens so often before a storm gets there, during or even after the storm has passed. So it is a very nervy few days over there on the northern Mariana Islands. Here's where we're at right now. The next name on the Atlantic naming list is Olga. In the Eastern Pacific, we're looking out for Priscilla. In the Central Pacific, the next name there is Hone. We've had 76 storms so far this year. The average each year is 91. In the Western Pacific, the next name is Matmo. And in the North Indian Ocean, we're looking out for Kiyar. You can find Force 13's outlets, the website force13.com with the latest, our YouTube page, search Force 13 all in text, and subscribe if you haven't so far. And you can also find us on Facebook and Twitter under the same name, and you can contact us on any of those platforms. That's all for now. We'll be back with another tropical weather bulletin tomorrow night. You can also help the project become even better by becoming a patron. You can see more information about all the benefits involved by visiting patreon.com/force13. With a special thanks to these people for being our most valued patrons this month. You can also check out our growing merch store so you can show Force 13's colours wherever you go. You can also find a link to our Discord server underneath this video in the description.